and he said, here's the Gandy guarantee. We'll give you 50 shirts. If you don't sell them, we'll take it. Most of our competition comes from small shops. We can get the product done quicker and do more and better. Our budget on that is probably $150,000 that we give back to the community here in San Angelo. I'm sitting here 36 years or whatever later, and I still enjoy coming to work every day.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to be around for 36 years. There's no doubt.
All right. Well, my name is Carson Beavers. I'm here with Phil Gandy. Very nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us. So we've kind of been doing this video series here in San Angelo specifically, where we've been going around and talking to business figures like yourself, artists, other people who are just kind of figureheads in the community, and kind of digging into their story a little bit. One thing that I'm just super interested to talk to you guys about is I did do a little bit of research on y'all's website. Y'all have been around since 1988. Exactly. That's when y'all launched.
Were you born then?
I was not. That's what I'm saying. So like you've been doing this since, like you said, before I was even born. So I guess that's kind of where I want to start. So I have a list of a couple questions here. So can you take us back to 1988 and kind of describe what inspired you to start a screen printing business here in San Angelo?
So in March of '88, I had just sold a restaurant I had for 3 years, a local restaurant, and then went back and finished my degree. So I had nothing going on at that time, looking for something, and I was out at the mall, and my stepmom had T-Shirts Plus out there, T-shirt shop, and she did group orders, but they didn't print. So I just went out there to have coffee with my dad, and she was just complaining about all the printers in town. She couldn't find a good printer, and I thought, it can't be that hard, right? Yeah. So thought about it and talked to my dad about it. So I just went to Dallas, bought some equipment. I knew one guy here in town that knew how to print, because I had no idea how to print at that time. And hired him, got the equipment. We started in the Civic Theater in an 800 square foot little room, had a tiny printer. And I went out and sold, and he printed, and that's kind of how it got started. If I hadn't had coffee that morning, we might not be sitting here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That is crazy. So your mom was already in screen printing.
My stepmother.
Your stepmother. She was doing some screen printing, and that was kind of like.
Well, they were contracting it out. They didn't actually do the printing. She had just a retail store.
Gotcha.
But they did group orders, and they were trying to find someone to print them for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha. So that's how all that started.
Okay. When you say they were at the mall, the Sunset Mall
Sunset
here
Mall,
in San Angelo?
they're not around. It was T-shirts. There's a T-shirts Plus. They're not. They closed it years and years ago. But that's how all that got started.
So before we get on to the next subject, I do just want to ask you one thing. In these interviews, one thing that keeps coming up is like how much Sunset Mall has changed in San Angelo from that time, late 80s, early 90s. How would you describe that change?
Well, there was movie theaters out there. There was restaurants. I mean, I think all these small malls around the country are struggling, and now you have workout centers and things like that in there, and more local little shops. So it's, Bell's is gone and Sears is gone and all that. So it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
Back then it was booming.
Yeah, and that's why I like to ask that question, is because it sounds like it was just such a centerpiece of the city. Yeah. And then that's just like hasn't been my experience in the slightest since I've been here. Yeah. So I like asking that question. Yeah. So over the years, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced in the screen printing business, and how did you overcome them?
So we started out just doing basically B2B, just businesses in town, churches and banks and stuff like that. But after about a year, I got the idea to do shirts for schools, like really cool looking designs for schools, which they didn't have then. So hired a really good artist here in town and a salesperson, and came up with some really neat spirit designs for schools, and sent them out on the road, and he went like to Wall and all the Cristobal, all the locals, and then went out. And they liked it, but they had never seen anything like it, and they were scared to buy a bunch of shirts and might get stuck with them. So I always try to find a solution. So one night I used to work at home, and I was late one night working. I kept thinking in my head that I can guarantee these things will sell. And I said, that's what we'll do. I came up with the Gandy guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out to schools and he said, here's the Gandy guarantee. We'll give you 50 shirts. If you don't sell them, we'll take them back.
Mm-hmm.
And we sold 160 schools that spring.
Are you serious?
And we had reorders and we didn't take one shirt back.
And that was the very first?
That was the first to really get into schools.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where our growth became, if you can do spirit shirts, then why not do football, volleyball?
Yeah.
There's probably 35 different groups in a school, so we just started every year adding to that.
Yeah.
And then our big breakthrough, I think, was our fast turnaround on playoffs.
Okay.
There's not very many companies that do what we do, and we still do it. So we do same day and next day. So they can get into playoffs and know Monday morning, and we have them shirts on Tuesday.
Really?
That's how quick that goes. And like this spring, in springs, there's a lot of different sports. There's softball, baseball, track, and golf, and tennis, and all that. One day we had 135 what we call lightning orders or playoff orders due in one day. So it's fast and furious.
And these orders are coming, just to clarify, these orders are coming from all over Texas, all over the country?
Mostly Texas, but the surrounding states too.
Mostly Texas and the surrounding
Texas
states.
is big and big on sports, right? So, but we do, New Mexico, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, a lot in Oklahoma. But once you get past that, it's hard to ship it and get it there quick enough.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's not all we do. But playoffs, what that did is got us into the schools. If we couldn't get in a school, we got in through playoffs, and then they said, "Where'd you get those shirts?" And then this other group said,
word of mouth.
"Yeah." So referrals really was our
Yeah.
growth. The other probably biggest challenge was cash flow at the time because
Yeah.
we're making money, but it was all out. The schools take forever to pay.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, but we worked through that after a few years.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Banks started trusting us a little bit. They don't trust you.
Yeah, there at the beginning, it's a little difficult to get anybody to do any business.
I always say they can be your best friend, but sometimes that doesn't work out. But we have a great relationship with them. So,
how has the screen printing industry changed since you started? And what have been some of the most significant technological or market changes over the years? And I guess one thing that I really want to point out, and I want you to hopefully point out, is, from 1988 to now, we're talking about a very significant time frame, and the technological advances just in the world in general. So, how has that come across into your industry?
We didn't have a computer then.
You didn't even have a computer when you started in
computer,
1988.
Our first art computer was bought in about a year after we were open. It came from California, and it was almost $40,000.
Really?
And all it did was lettering, and you could move it in any way you want. Before that, we would type out lettering, go to a Xerox machine, blow it up, and then cut it out with amberlith.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would shoot it on a camera. I mean, the technology in the art is incredible now. It's changed over the years to where, and when we build our screens, it's just night and day compared to what it was. That's probably some of the biggest technologies in the art, and then building the screens. Nowadays it's all digital, and we can print it right on the screen and send it out to the floor compared to all the cameras and all that kind of stuff we had to do before.
Yeah.
There's a lot of digital stuff. Direct to film now is a big, to where you're actually printing out a transfer and putting it on the T-shirt compared to having to print every different color. It prints it all out at once. So it's ever changing. I mean, we go to 2 or 3 trade shows every year. We try to stay, and I think we do. Our shop is ahead on the technology or stays up with it, but it's one year to the next. It's just incredible the technology change going on.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
So, would you even think it would be possible to produce the level that you have if you were using the technology that you had in 1988 right now?
Not even 1/10 of it.
Not even 1/10 of it.
There's no way.
No, and I know you were saying earlier, most people, my experience with coming in here, I've been doing business with my company here at Gandy for almost 8 years now. I typically don't go past the front door, but the other day your son actually walked me through and gave me a tour of the whole facility, and my mind was kind of blown. I didn't realize how far back it goes and how much stuff y'all have going on back here. It's
I'll give a tour to one of my friends and they'll say, hey, wonder why we can't just do 3 or 4 shirts like that.
Yeah.
When I show them the process, they go, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
There's like 14 to 15 touches, starting with art all the way through to get that done. So it's a little more complicated than what
it looks like. Y'all make it look so easy.
Well, we have good systems, good people.
Yeah. Cool. Well, next question I have over here is about your growth strategy. So what were the key decisions or strategies that contributed to your growth from a local business to one of the biggest screen printers in the country? And the reason that I use that verbiage is I was reading on y'all's website of some of the awards that you guys had won. Right. And I mean, y'all were literally listed as, I want to say that at the time of the award that I read was the 29th biggest in the entire country, in the U.S.
In our category, we really got up to the top 2 or 3.
The top 2 or 3?
Yeah, in our category.
That's so
we're not contract printers. We go straight to the customer. So, so what was the question again?
Yeah, I kind of took you all over the place there.
Okay, so our growth, we grew in schools, and that's where I knew we could. Mm-hmm. And, San Angelo's only so big, and you're doing local business. We love it, but there's only so much there, mm-hmm. right? But schools, we could reach out farther and farther. So the growth came in schools, in all the different groups in the schools and through referrals. What that has done over the years is create these big peaks and valleys. Mm-hmm. So what we've worked on the last 8 or 9 years is like obviously in schools, August, September, October, it's like way up here, mm-hmm. and then it drops off, and then the spring isn't quite as big, and you got some slow months. So we have these valleys and we have these peaks. So we've we've gone after a lot of different other niches and commercial business statewide now, mm-hmm. And which is really helping us fill in those valleys to even things out. Because we have 185 employees, and you want to keep them busy in your slow time, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the strategy we're going through right now. Yeah, is bringing those valleys up with different types of business. If we keep doing school business, the peaks just get taller and taller, right?
Yeah, then you're really riding a roller coaster up and down at that point.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, so and then I guess the next question that I have is kind of along the lines of that growth is. Y'all started out as a local business here in San Angelo. You've grown. Your focus, as you were saying, it was on the schools. Do you feel like it was like as soon as you started going into the schools, it just blew up? Or was it a gradual growth through the years? Because
we were growing at about 15%. On those early years, 15 to 20% a year, which is a lot of growth.
Yeah, that's significant.
It was hard to catch up with our capacity. Mm-hmm. So we moved from that original building into another building of 5,000 square feet over on Arden Road. Then we added another 5, outgrew that quickly. This was a yearbook company, and they had moved, so we took this building over, and it was only 30,000 square feet. We're now at close to 80.
Really? Because of how much y'all have expanded from the original?
Yeah, we bought the property next to us and then added the big production facility in the back for print. Yeah. And we're still out of space. We still produce more space. So you got to keep, sales can grow, but you got to keep up with the capacity. And that's been the biggest challenge is to do that. So.
Yeah, definitely. How long have y'all been in this building
right here? We bought this in 2004, remodeled it completely, and moved in 2005. And then we've added a couple of warehouses in the 20,000 square foot print facility, mm-hmm. and then bought the property next door where we have embroidery now. The crazy thing, the last 4 years have been nuts because of the pandemic. So we were just about to build another building for office space because we were out of office space. Mm-hmm. Now we've got 85, 90 people working off-site, so we don't need office space. We need production space. So we actually tore out 7 or 8 offices that we had built in 2018 that we didn't need anymore to put in more production facilities. So the whole thing is
it's just ever changing.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. But I think that also speaks and I can only comment on what we've kind of talked about here as to why you've been so successful, because you're able to adapt and make those changes as those things come. I'm sure tons of things like that have happened in just the years you've been in business.
Yeah. So school business is very predictable. We know it very well. We know exactly the weeks we're going to be busy and not busy and all that. But when the pandemic hit, we were on spring break in March and we realized that spring break's going to be 1 week. Now, they're going to shut another week and another week. We actually shut the whole place down for a month. Tried to figure, all schools were gone.
Yeah.
And that was 85% of our business. So we kept as many employees as we could and tried to figure out what to do. And we said, well, we're going to make masks. So we bought the equipment, sublimation printing equipment, and talk about adapting. I found a company in Dallas that cut the material, and then Carol Turner that has a business over here, they weren't busy. They just sewed dresses. So they did the sewing, and we did the printing, and we all worked together, and we did probably 5 million masks in the next 4 or 5 months. Sold them to schools, to commercial.
So how fast would you say from the time you had that idea until you were shipping out masks?
We bought it. Within less than a month.
Less than a month.
We bought the equipment.
Yeah.
We had it here. We made the deals, and I had salespeople in here doing production.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to keep your job, come on in and work, right? So we had. I mean, it was a crazy time, but it pulled everybody together.
Yeah.
And then, as schools started opening back up, then we kind of got back into that. But that was the bridge that got us through it, really, to manufacture all that and get that out.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a cool story to hear of just like that adapt and overcome mindset.
And it kept 3 different businesses going, really.
Yeah.
Helped 3 different businesses. Yeah.
That's wild. That's crazy. Your business philosophy. What core values or philosophies have guided you throughout your business journey?
One thing, when I was first in business, you think your customer's most important, you think all that, but really everybody's important. And we've really realized how our biggest asset is our people. Mm-hmm. And we have done all kinds of things to keep them happy and keep them motivated and want to work here. Mm-hmm. One thing we did that when we do surveys with employees of what they like and why they work here, we decided schools aren't around, they're closed the 2 weeks in December, right? Mm-hmm. So we close 2 weeks in December, which gives everybody 2 weeks off to be with their family, and they don't have to make adjustments for their kids and all that kind of stuff. That's a big deal. Yeah. Now we close a week in the summer and give them a week off during the 4th of July week. So things like that but our philosophy really is do whatever it takes. We literally will do whatever it takes to please. We make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Everybody does, but we fix it if it's humanly possible. I mean, we've driven shirts. I drove shirts down to Texas City the other day, and it was only 1 box of shirts because they had to have them. I was on the road 16 hours and took 1 box down there. Yeah. When we get in those peaks, sometimes we have to do that. And there was one day we had 6 or 7 people on the road delivering shirts. Yeah. Even if it's the customer's fault and the shirt's not right, we fix it no matter what.
No, I personally can attest to y'all sticking to that. Like I said, I've been doing business with y'all for about 8 years now, and there hasn't been a lot of issues by any means. I want to say we've placed shirt orders like at least once a quarter for the past 8 years, and of the 1, maybe 2 issues, y'all have gotten it fixed, I want to say like within almost 24 hours. Yeah. Like it's not only is it amazing the turnaround time where you receive the product, but then if there is an issue, how fast you get that fixed. It's kind of amazing. Like you're really running like a well-oiled machine.
We give our customer service the go ahead to just not have to ask, just get it fixed. Right?
Yeah,
and we're gonna do it anyway. So why say, well, let me get off the phone and talk to a manager and see what we can do? No, do it.
Yeah, the priority is doing it right. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
No, I love that. So how do you foster innovation within your company, and can you share an example of a recent innovation that's had a significant impact?
Well, would be direct to film. It's our new equipment that actually, it's new. It's only been around for a couple of years, but so say we have a small order and it's 6 or 7 colors, and someone wants 12 shirts or 18. It's a 2-hour setup on a big press, right? But we can send that digitally over there and print those transfers out, and we found a way to make them look just like screen print. So it's the quality. It's not like the old transfers. The quality is great. So what we're trying to adjust now is like, where do we draw that line you know, if we got something like photo prints of a team that takes 10, 12 screens, we got another way to do it that doesn't spend 3 hours on a press. We can do it over here. So that's a huge innovation recently that we're still trying to figure out how that's going to fit our company.
Yeah.
So we can take some of the pressure off the big presses and let them do the jobs that they need to do, and we can move the other to what we call finishing or digital department like that.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really helped us is our online stores for customers. So
really?
we have a great, we wrote this software ourselves, but it's called Gandy Go, and they can open up a store. We do everything for them. We can fulfill it. So say a teacher wants to do shirts for all the classes or whatever. We can print all that. We can bag it. We can per classroom, per name, and they get it. We collect all the money. We give them their part of it. They don't have to do anything. It takes all the work off of them. They just say, we want to do a store. And we and then they get the box, and it's like they can just pass it out just like that.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's really a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna just set up the whole thing for you.
Yeah. I'd say the other thing we've gotten into recently is a lot of hard goods. So that like coffee mugs and things like that. We do. There's really not anything we can't do with the logo on it.
Yeah.
So we're really pushing the hard goods side of it. Anywhere from an umbrella to a Yeti to this or that, you know, anything that you see a logo on, we can do.
Yeah.
Corporate gifts is big for us now.
Yeah.
For their employees and things like that. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Just the scope of the amount of products that y'all offer is pretty wild. So as your business grew, how did you handle the increasing competition, especially as you were kind of getting established, competing against the larger, more established companies? Yeah,
it's crazy. There are some bigger companies or big companies that we compete against, but really most of our competition comes from small shops in small towns, rural areas. How we compete is we can get the product done quicker and do more and better. So, you know, really in the schools, the 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A is where we shine. But there's always like a small print shop or something like that, but their capacity is pretty small.
Yeah.
So we just outservice them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying they get their share of business, but we outservice them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quality and service and make sure we take care of the customer and get it there on time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where most of our competition comes from.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, at the end of the day, just keeping it simple, we just, you know, we outservice them. So being a significant business here in San Angelo, how do you guys give back to the community?
A lot.
Yeah.
We do just some examples. We just did Dancing with the Stars, which was Wexus Rehab.
Yeah.
Is the beneficiary of that. We donated quite a bit of money there. We do the premium sale for all the kids coming in showing their animals.
Oh yeah, with the rodeo.
Yeah, we're top buyer there, and all that money goes to the kids' the school foundation. We do a lot of stuff with ASU. I've helped a lot with the women's golf team up there. We bought a practice facility for them.
That's amazing.
A lot of fundraisers, golf tournament fundraisers and things like that. So, you know, our budget on that is probably $150,000 that we give back to the community here in San Angelo.
That's part of the reason why I specifically wanted to have this interview with you, was because I do know that you guys do a lot in our community. And, you know, y'all are such a big front-facing business that sometimes I feel like people forget, like, how much of a value having a company like Gandy in San Angelo is to the community as a whole.
I don't think there's a day go by we don't get asked to do something.
Yeah.
After mine, that we do print shirts for a living. So, you know, it's not like we just can't give them all away. But we, you know, really everything we do is something to do with kids.
Yeah.
And we also started a project 4 or 5 years ago where we give scholarships around the states. We pick 10 students anywhere in the state. We take applications and we give 10 $1,000 scholarships outside of San Angelo also.
That's amazing.
So that program's growing also. So yeah, we do a lot. And we should.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I mean, I think just that, once again, everything you've kind of said since we've been sitting here talking, kind of, I'm just like, as you say it, I'm just like, well, it's not a surprise to me that these guys have been around since 1988. Like, it seems like your foundation and your core and your philosophies are just right from the ground up, from, how you're treating your employees to your philosophies on your customers and everything like that. Like, it's not a surprise that you found the success that you've had.
Yeah, we've got a great leadership team, and I let them do their work. We have 8 in our leadership team. We meet once a week. We go through strategy. We set goals for the quarter, and I don't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I'm just here to help and do whatever I need to do. But they work. They work hard. They're very dedicated, and a special group of people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
From 1988 to 2024, kind of the views on the world have changed significantly. So, kind of with growing concerns about environmental sustainability, how do you feel like your business has adapted to be more environmentally friendly?
Well, we are. We don't use any chemicals or anything that aren't.
Really?
Yeah. Everything that we use, you can put right down the drain. And
Wow.
That's not the way it used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
All our inks are lead-free. I mean, everything is the way it should be,
Yeah.
right? We don't get a lot of calls for that, but we want to, especially from schools, but mostly there's a lot of businesses that are concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a big concern of ours too. Sustainability, we just, it's an ever-changing world. We do what we need to do. We just keep plugging along and adapt to whatever, like the pandemic, just adapt to whatever happens. I feel like we adapt to it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And that's like, I think that goes to speak, like you're saying, that's not always how it was, but, that's just that natural evolution of things. We're just working with a different set of information these days,
Yeah.
so we just try to do it as best we can.
Yeah.
With you being, an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, what advice would you have for entrepreneurs? And specifically, what advice would you give to someone starting their own business today? And what do you wish someone had told you when you were starting out in your business?
Number one, have a good business plan.
Have
And
a good business
really
plan.
investigate it and make sure you're on the right track and there's a market for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of businesses go out 1 year, 2 year, 3 year after they start, and I think it's just, it's a special breed, and I'm not just talking about me, but it's a special breed for entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gotta have the tenacity to get, there's been many a times where it's been rough,
Yeah.
right? But you gotta just never give up and just work your way through it, and there'll be some tough times. It could either be cash flow or it could be, whatever it is, but you just got to work yourself through it.
Yeah.
And it's, but make sure you have a good business plan. Make sure you have a product that people want, and make sure you love the business. Because I'm sitting here 36 years or whatever later, and I still enjoy coming to work every day.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy what you're doing, you're not going to be around for 36 years.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating, and the best thing for me is when our customers open up that box of shirts and all the kids or whoever the employees are all happy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I can sense just throughout this conversation and the way you're talking about, I can sense that passion
Yeah.
for that in the way that you're talking about it. And I think that's so cool because I believe in that same philosophy. It's like, money and success can be so much of a motivator, but you really have to have that passion to do something for 36 years. Like, you can't fake that.
If all you think about is making money, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
That comes as a byproduct of doing everything else right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you hit the T right on the head with that
Yeah.
one. Where do you see the screen printing industry going in the next 10 years? And then, are there any emerging trends that businesses should be aware of?
Everything's more digital now.
More
And it's
digital.
just going that way. Software is incredible, art software, this AI stuff now. I mean, you gotta be real careful with that. You can just put in, I need an alligator riding a surfboard, and boom, 30 of them pop up.
Yeah.
That wasn't around before.
Yeah, yeah.
Gotta be careful which ones you use. But a lot of that speed of getting, custom art, we do a lot of templates for schools, so they can just say, we like that design, but our mascot's a bulldog or a red and white, and boom. But custom stuff, we do more and more of that, and you got to get into the head of the customer. So we try to get as much information as possible, and before you start down one way and they go, oh, no, that's not what I want. So 4 hours later, you're back this way. Now you can get a lot of ideas through AI and see what direction you want to go. But we're trying to figure out how that's going to fit into our business in so many different ways. So far, art is definitely one of them. I think even I watch a lot of business channels, and all the big companies are trying to figure artificial intelligence out right now.
Figure out where does this play in with everything. And I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like it kind of just burst on the scene out of nowhere. Like we were talking about it, and the next thing you know, everybody's got something on their phone, and they're just typing it into the computer to either make an image or answer a question, and it's like, where did this come from?
You're not sure you're getting the right answer.
A
lot of fake news out there.
Who's fact checking this thing? It's like, oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, it's crazy. It's crazy how fast that happened. And like you said, I mean, it's probably going to keep happening.
It reminds me of the .com era. Back then, if you put .com on the end of your company, your stock went crazy, and then so anybody that says anything about AI, the value of I'm talking about big companies, goes up. But there'll be a reckoning. I mean, there'll be some companies that are successful and some that aren't. But we're really anxious to see how that's going to work and how it's going to affect our business. No,
that's really interesting. How have you personally evolved as a leader and businessman over the years from 1988 to now?
Definitely have more patience.
More patience?
All the way around. I think that how I changed over the years is once I had married and had kids, I understood what everybody goes through. If you don't have kids and you run a business and you don't understand families and your employees and what they have to deal with, that's become a real good understanding of that. And we're family oriented. We understand that there's going to be issues and there's going to be problems, and we're very open to that. And I just figure if we give on that end to an employee, they'll give back to us. So, I think just family means a lot to us. And I think if you talk to a lot of our employees, we really, if they have any kind of issue or there's something going on in their family, they need some time or whatever, that's okay. So that's probably my biggest growth area.
No, and that really resonates with me personally. I'm actually about to get married here in June. So I'm kind of realizing how much my perspective is changing on things, just thinking about, hey, I'm about to have a wife, I'm going to eventually have kids. And I'm not even living that yet. I'm just starting to think about it. But I can definitely see how just like your priorities in life will change. And how it's going to make me look at things differently. So I know exactly.
I think it's made our employees way more loyal. If we took a hard stance and no, you can't take off today because your child is sick, that would not be good. So I think it really creates loyalty and keeps, main thing is to keep people here that want to work here.
No, dude,
for sure.
I know what you mean. If you had the chance to talk to all of your customers who had ever bought something from Gandy and they had them all in, let's just say like an auditorium, if there's one thing that you could let them know, what would you want to say to them?
Well, for all these years, all we try to do is take care of them. We try to meet their needs and do it as best we can. Like I said, everybody makes mistakes, but our philosophy is we're going to make it right no matter what, and that's what we do. We appreciate all the business. We've got, like I said, 185 employees, and that's a lot of pressure to keep this thing going. And so we do whatever we need to do for the customer, we do. And they're obviously as important as our employees, as important as our vendors. There's kind of a three-way deal there that we all work together. But we appreciate everything that anybody that does business with us, we appreciate it. And sometimes they might go somewhere else and then they come back. That's a good thing too. So there's a lot of competition, but we just do whatever we need to do to please the customer.
No, and I think that's a great philosophy. If somebody was interested in finding out more about Gandy or reaching out to you guys as far as like doing a t-shirt order or any type of an order, what is the best place to get in contact with y'all?
Best ways is either our website.
Go to the website.
Gandy Ink, and that's INK. A lot of people put INC and it doesn't work. GandyInk.com. You can start art there on your own. But there's also a chat. You can chat with customer service. Or you can just call in and talk to customer service. We're very relational friendly. Like, it's not just all online like some companies. So you can choose whatever you're comfortable with. Some of the younger generation likes to tinker and do it all on their own. But we got great art, and you can start a piece of art and you'll get proofs back and forth, and you can chat with an artist and get it exactly like you want it. You can turn your product in, your sizes, your shirt, whatever it is, online. You can call in and give it, so however you want to do it. But I would start with the website, no doubt.
Start with the website. And it's Gandy Ink, INK, not INC. So GandyInk.com, INK. Cool. Well, to be honest with you, that's pretty much wraps it up as far as what I had planned. I did have one more question for you, but if at any point you need to go or anything like that, feel free to stand up. So I know that you started this business with your father in 1988. And then I also came and met your son the other day, and he gave me a tour of this place. How are you kind of trying to, and if you are, I guess what I'm asking is, are you trying to kind of like keep this in the family as a family business?
That's a good question.
With your sons?
Yeah, so Dad and me started together, and it's common knowledge. He got out after about 6 months thinking this thing wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I brought him back in 2 years later as sales manager because that was his bread and butter.
Yeah.
He's the best thing I ever did was bring him back in, he says. But anyway, so I never put any pressure on. I got 2 sons working for me. Ryan is here, and Jake is in Dallas in marketing. Ryan runs our operation. Never even imagined them wanting to do that.
Yeah.
But they both did, and they both are incredibly smart and good. So do a great job. So we've been offered numerous times for buyouts, and companies want to buy us and stuff like that. It's off the table now. I mean, unless it was just some ungodly thing. But no, it's always been a family business, and they're both committed, and I love seeing them grow and do what they do for the company. And they're just 2 amazing boys, and I'm lucky to have them.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. Just to hear you're almost living your own philosophies, like you're saying. I mean, you're talking about having your employees have value in their families, and you're walking the talk yourself. And that's so cool, man. Yeah. I think what a good place to wrap it up on, man.
All right.
So, well, cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah.
And looking forward to running into you again.
Okay. Yeah. Come by anytime.
For sure.
Okay.